What is up, everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and today I will be addressing the new major developments in the Black Clover story, including the epic Asta and Yami team action against Dante, the reveal about the importance of anti-magic to this fight, and Asta's extremely dangerous deal with the devil. The action is off the charts, the stakes are as high as they've ever been, so let's get into it. If you enjoyed the Black Clover content on this channel and you want to see more, you know what to do. Leave a like to let me know, it really does help. And if you're new to AnimeUproar or you just haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. Finally, this video will of course contain Black Clover manga spoilers. We are dealing with the very latest developments in the story, so please proceed with caution, you have been warned. At the end of the previous chapter, we witnessed that incredible and heartwarming moment when Yami admitted that he cannot win this battle against Dante alone, and so he asked for Asta's help. He actually called Asta by name and told him that they have to work together to take on Dante. This one brief but iconic moment says a lot about the development of the story in several aspects. First up, this says that Dante really is incredibly strong. If Yami, an overpowered character with extremely rare and strong magic and an ability to always surpass his limits, can't beat Dante without help, then Dante really is a terrifyingly strong opponent. Second, the fact that Yami asked for Asta's help shows that he really does trust Asta. Asta has come a long way since the time he first joined the Black Bulls as a rookie who was born without magic and who was like the biggest underdog. At this point in the story, Yami has clearly noticed Asta's amazing development both as a mage and as a person. The latest chapter picks up right after this iconic moment as Asta and Yami stand together and face down the stubbornly strong Dante. Dante doesn't seem terribly worried about the fact that he now has two opponents. In fact, Dante is actually entertained by this battle and he loves the challenge of facing a strong opponent like Yami. Yami tells Asta to follow his lead as the two Black Bulls charge at Dante at the same time. Both Asta and Yami show impressive speed and technique as they use their swords to attack Dante. But of course, Dante just keeps regenerating every time Yami cuts him, and as he regenerates, his body really does become more and more deformed. In earlier chapters, Dante talked about how he doesn't like using this regeneration magic because it deforms his body, and clearly he had a point. Dante's body proportions are now completely out of whack, and he looks more like a demonic monster than a human. This really is a great battle, and I had to stop and appreciate all these action-packed panels that Tabata has created for us. As a manga lover, I'm always so impressed to see black and white still images on a page that are able to convey so much action and power in such a short period of time. And as much as I do love manga, I definitely can't wait to see this fight animated because it's going to be glorious. Back to the fight itself. No matter how much damage Yami inflicts on Dante, Dante is able to regenerate. But in spite of this, Yami is convinced that Asta's anti-magic is the key to ultimately defeating Dante. While Dante seems to be totally cool with taking hits from Yami, he seems to be a lot more cautious about avoiding Asta's anti-magic attacks. In fact, I don't think that Asta managed to land a single clean-cut anti-magic attack on Dante in this whole chapter. When Yami sees this, it confirms his suspicion that anti-magic is the crucial ingredient to defeating Dante. While Dante can easily recover from a dark magic attack, it seems that anti-magic is a different story. And so, if Asta can get the better of Dante and land some hits on him, perhaps Dante really will be defeated. However, Asta is disappointed in his performance so far. Even though he has made a ton of progress during the course of the past 6 months, and even though he is doing his best to support Yami, Asta feels that he is just getting in the way. Nothing he has done so far has been able to affect Dante in any meaningful way. Asta just isn't strong enough or fast enough at this point in time to successfully defeat someone as overpowered as Dante. This is totally understandable when we take into account Asta's age and how he spent most of his life without any magic, but Asta is still disappointed in himself. Because of this, Asta decides to turn to his own demon, the demon inside his grimoire. Asta is suddenly able to talk to his demon just as easily as Dante was able to talk to Lucifer several chapters ago. To me, this says that Asta and his demon are starting to forge a closer bond. They are becoming closer, but only time will tell whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. At any rate, Asta tells the anti-magic demon that he had felt his anger earlier when they failed to defeat Dante in battle. Asta doesn't know why this made the demon so angry, but it is clear that Asta's demon wants to defeat Dante just as much as Asta does. For that reason, Asta asks his demon to lend him his power, his true power. The implication, of course, is that so far, Asta has been using only a small fraction of his demon's abilities, and there is still a lot more power that Asta could tap into if the anti-magic demon allows it. Asta's demon agrees to lend him the true power of a devil, but he explains that this power is beyond Asta's current capabilities. Put simply, Asta wouldn't be able to handle all of that power on his own. As a result, the demon proposes a deal. In return for giving Asta access to his true demon power, the anti-magic demon says that he will need to take part of Asta's body. This is nothing short of a deal with the devil, and the demon asks Asta whether he is sure that he really wants to do this. This definitely isn't something to take lightly. Making a deal with the devil is no joke, and it could turn out to be very costly for Asta in the long term. As we know, for hundreds and even thousands of years of human civilization, when anyone makes a deal with the devil in some work of fiction, unwanted and unpredictable negative consequences are inevitable. So, Asta has to really be careful here. Those who make a deal with the devil almost always come to regret it. At least that is the common trope in most works of fiction that feature some sort of deal with the devil. But Asta says that his dream is to one day become the Wizard King, and he can't possibly become the Wizard King if he cannot overcome this obstacle that he is facing right now. Asta was born without magic, so the power of his anti-magic demon is the only magical ability that he will ever be able to use. For that reason, Asta has to find a way to access more of his demon's power. He has to learn to handle the true power of the anti-magic demon. Just training really hard for 6 months clearly wasn't enough. It definitely made Asta a lot stronger, but that in itself wasn't enough to challenge someone of Dante's caliber. In order to defeat someone like Dante, Asta will have to go a step further. He will have to resort to more drastic measures, even if that means making a deal with the devil. And beyond just his dream of becoming the Wizard King, Asta also wants to live up to Captain Yami's expectations. He wants to justify the faith that Yami had placed in him when he invited Asta to fight as a team. So, Asta is determined to do what he has to do to help Yami finally defeat Dante, and he is willing to accept the consequences. The anti-magic demon agrees to give Asta more of his power, and the very last panel of the chapter shows Asta awakening and manifesting the maximum amount of power that he is able to handle at this time. Demonic darkness begins to cover much of Asta's body, and his entire right arm now appears to be completely consumed by demonic darkness. The chapter ends with Yami smiling as the newly powered up Asta prepares to challenge Dante. I really liked this chapter. It had great action and teamwork between our boys Yami and Asta, and it had some major reveals and developments that will have important consequences for the rest of the story. In this chapter, it was seemingly confirmed that Asta's anti-magic is the key to defeating Dante. This is something that many of us speculated about, but now it seems that Dante is definitely worried about anti-magic far more than dark magic. The other major development is Asta making a deal with his devil. A deal that will allow him to awaken new levels of power, but that will also cost him dearly. From what we've seen so far, it looks like the anti-magic demon has completely taken over Asta's arm. So, what will happen to that arm now? Is this change permanent, or is it something that is going to last only for the duration of this fight and then go back to normal? Is this arm now going to be controlled by the demon himself, or will Asta still have full control over it as he always has? And in the case that this change really is permanent, then could this be only the beginning of a far bigger and more sinister change in Asta? Definitely let me know what you guys think. Will Asta regret making this deal with the devil? Is Asta's demon actually scheming behind the scenes and planning to take over Asta's body bit by bit, body part by body part? Is the anti-magic demon going to take advantage of Asta's commitment to get stronger and become the Wizard King in order to slowly consume more of Asta's body and maybe even his personality? Please share your thoughts on this crazy chapter down in the comments below, and definitely let me know what you think is going to happen next. If you enjoyed this Black Clover video and you want us to keep it going, please leave a like to let me know. It really does help. And if you happen to be new to AnimeUproar or you just haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You really have to go through the trouble of hitting that bell and then selecting the option that says all. If you don't do that, you're gonna miss a lot of our videos even if you're subscribed. It's just how YouTube works. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. I want to give a big thank you to all of our AnimeUproar patrons for making videos like this one possible. Special thanks to all of our The One tier patrons, the ones who rise above all other clans, including Ingrata, Alolanatum, The World, Steelers, A Quiet Respect, Pate Heffa, Jonathan King, Brandon Aviles, Papa Smurf, The School Bus, King Riser, Emperor Otaku, Ricardo Martinez, Thomas Jones, Kinmano, Michael Hyde, and Jaden the Vector. And I can't forget all of our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, Anatoly Kazatsky, Angel Cruz, Cricket XP, Joe Stanton, Very Gucci, Alicia Octor, Jessica Kayla Fond, Hinokami and Water, Bonnie Parks, Zodiart 12, Rathuin Deora, Kraken, Arels, and Deadly Saint. If you enjoy our videos and you feel that they provide value to you, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a single $1 will give you access to our patron exclusive Discord, and your name will appear in our videos along with these amazing people. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.